All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the show. Thanks so much for being with us. As always, this is the Millstone Report. Thank you so much for your time. We can't do the program without you watching every single day. You guys know the drill. So, in my opinion, now is the time to get to work. The collective meltdowns from the deep state as a result of President Trump's cabinet nominees, which we're going to talk about in the majority of the show today. It's a thing to behold, these meltdowns. But when I say get to work, I don't just mean at the national level. Now is the time to press our advantage and winnow our enemies in all spheres of public life, from the White House all the way down to the local dog catcher's office. Thanks to the watchful eye of Americans all across this country, at the local level, the last election was more reliable than the one in 2020. There was still fraud in the blue wall states that Trump won, because the Senate races there, just mathematically, they don't make any sense. Hopefully, Attorney General Matt Gaetz will investigate. But as Dr. Andrew Paquette told us last Friday, the secret algorithms that create ghost and phantom voters within the voter systems of virtually all 50 states, they were turned over to Trump's team at Mar-a-Lago, he said. So the deep state was either thwarted or they pumped the brakes because they knew they were being watched. None of this would have happened without the grassroots and the free exchange of information thanks to X and Elon Musk. And again, now is the time to press the advantage. So in response to Trump's landslide victory, I'm sure you've heard this, liberals are now taking their ball and going home. Many are leaving X. They're flocking to new platforms like Blue Sky Social, which is hoping to be a haven for left-wing exiles who used to love Twitter back when conservatives were censored because the app was the property of our intel oligarch overlords. No doubt Blue Sky is an attempt to reestablish deep state censorship and mind control programming. After all, the logo for this new app is a butterfly. Monarch mind control, anyone? Moving forward, patriots taking control and wielding influence locally is key. And one of the essential aspects of local control, obviously, is being able to organize an effective movement. Twitter is great, or X is great for the national stuff. But what about your local issues? So I was recently introduced to a new platform called Republic, and it aims to give local organizations an easy way to organize and share vital information quickly. Vince Savanovich is the organization's director for Republic, the organizational director for Republic, and he joins us now to talk more about this. Vince, welcome to the Millstone Report, sir. Thank you so much for being with us on this wonderful Friday morning or afternoon, depending on what time zone you're in.
It's great to be here, Paul. Thank you very much for inviting me.
Absolutely. So first of all, I mentioned Republic, so let's talk about that. What exactly, what's the aim of this? Did I get the aim right? Did I get the summary right of it?
Yeah. That was a very good description. We're a brand new social media platform that was created with the emphasis on freedom of speech being the cornerstone right from the very beginning. The other social media platforms, the very popular ones, even X, experience some censorship. Some more than others. Facebook, as an example, they deleted 25 posts of mine just in the last 3 weeks. Non-controversial posts, but posts that they didn't agree with apparently, and they deleted it. So we wanted to give our fellow citizens a platform where they can not be censored, where they can read articles that are written, by knowledgeable people around the country, but specifically, most importantly, by activists in their local area, so that they can focus their efforts on becoming active in their local communities, working together with their neighbors and friends and other people that live in the community to identify issues that need to be addressed, and then organizing their efforts to find solutions and implement those solutions. And then what we believe will happen over time is that more and more of our fellow citizens will understand that in our democracy, our republic, our system of government, we are the ones that are supposed to be in charge. And if we take back control of our country and make sure that our elected representatives are representing us well, or we fire them and find other people that will represent us well, that we can get things done and make this country great again, make our country healthy again, give our children and grandchildren the kind of future that we were promised by previous generations.
I mean, yeah, that's very well said. And you mentioned make America healthy again. I mean, this Robert Kennedy Jr. It's just one punch after another. They can't keep up with their outrage. But yesterday evening we finally get the news: Health and Human Services Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. At least he's been nominated for it. Going to try to go through this confirmation process, which I don't even think they should bother with. I just think we should get to recess. But what are your thoughts on that? You mentioned make America healthy again. This is a huge deal.
Well, members of our management team have met with Robert F. Kennedy Jr. And so they've been briefed on the kinds of things that he's working on and wants to implement, and those are very much in line with the mission of Republic. There's so much information that has been hidden from us for a long time, and the communications revolution led by people like yourself, where instead of having mass communications, it's smaller venues that are able to tell people the truth. People are learning a lot of people for the first time how much the government has funded the development of pharmaceuticals to treat ailments that are caused by the food that's made in factories by companies in our country. It's just one aspect, and
I mean, it's crazy,
yeah,
as a father, of a young child. Yeah, I mean, you go into the store and you just look at the ingredients on the back, and the packaging's all, and you have to explain. Sorry, I mean, sorry, sweetie, but I mean, I'm not buying this for you because it's just chock full of chemicals. It's chock full of dye
yeah,
and stuff like that, and
yeah,
I want that stuff out of our food supply, right? I want
yeah.
a clean food supply, and so we've got these regulatory agencies that they're being controlled by the industries that are supposed to regulate them. It's absolutely insane, and you would think that by the way, that used to be a more of a left wing issue, right? We need regulatory agencies. I was the guy saying, quit. I'm tired of all these regulations, right? But
Mhm,
the entire apparatus has become so corrupt that we are being run by people that actually hate us, right? So I want people in there who don't hate us, and I don't think
mhm.
Robert F. Kennedy Jr. Uh, hates humanity like these other
No,
people in positions of power.
yes, yeah. No, he's demonstrated that by taking slings and arrows for the last 20 years, not only from the regulatory agencies, but from his own family. And he's stood up to everybody and been outspoken about the things that he's learned through his research, through his organization, and he's got the respect of a lot of people. He has been one of those people who has been silenced. The corporate media, if they're told by the people that are their big advertisers, which of course big pharma, big food are the biggest advertisers for corporate media, that that certain people need to be demonized, then the media turns right over to Saul Alinsky tactics to demonize the people that are telling the truth and calling them conspiracy theorists. But again, like I mentioned earlier, platforms like and shows like yours that are not corporate media, that aren't mass communications, but are focused communications. You're telling the truth about things, and people are learning now that a lot of what they thought they knew was true is not, and an awful lot of conspiracy theories turn out to be true. And I've heard or read some very clever people say that a conspiracy theory is only a conspiracy theory for a short period of time, because in a matter of 6 months it turns out that it's true.
Yeah, and I said yesterday on
And
the show, that actually that time frame is getting is getting
Thank goodness.
smaller and smaller, right? That window.
Yeah.
And actually, if you look at what happened, to Alex Jones yesterday, they apparently, they shut him down. Of course, there was the whole thing. The judges now ruled that that was done illegally. There wasn't actually an auction that was above board. But in remarking on that, I said, way back in the day, when Alex Jones was on air and he was saying things nobody else was saying,
Yes.
that window was very giant, right? It was, I
Yes.
feel like, between he would say something and maybe it'd take a year, 2, 3 or more. Oh, wow, that really is true. But now, because of him and others like him, it's just it's a snowball effect, right? And to the point
Yeah.
now where when the mainstream media says something or when the mainstream media calls it a conspiracy theory, 99% of the time you can just believe the opposite of what they're telling you and you can arrive at the truth. It's
Yes.
incredible.
Yeah. Yeah. If they call it conspiracy theory, it's like shining a spotlight on something that obviously we need to pay attention to,
Yeah.
because the reasons that they call it a conspiracy theory are not good reasons. They're reasons that are uh, that end up hurting us, either hurting us, physically or mentally, or dividing us from each other. Because that's one of the big things that the corporate media does, is create divisions between you and me and my neighbors and other people in the community, when those divisions don't exist.
Yeah.
They would like for us to be fighting against each other so that we're not focused on the people who are really causing the problems in our country.
That's exactly right. Okay, so real quick, tell us the benefits of Republic. Okay, this
Yeah.
social media. I mean, I like what's going to separate you guys from other platforms.
Sure. Well, first of all, we're focused on local. So where other social media platforms are really top down, the biggest influencers, the biggest celebrities and so forth get the most attention, and things trickle down from there. Our emphasis is on local communities. So grassroots up is where we're coming from. So we're completely opposite from other social media platforms in that regard. We believe that if we want to return America to the greatness that it experienced in the past and to the potential greatness that we can experience in the future, we need to give our fellow citizens in the local communities the opportunity to interact with each other, inform each other. Once they learn about things that are going on in their community, uh, and one of the issues that we're addressing is that local news has almost completely disappeared in the United States. And that's for good reasons. It's very expensive to publish newspapers. Newspapers run on advertising. Local communities don't have their own stores anymore, and everything is, Walmart and so forth, and they're buying their advertising nationally. So one of the things that makes us unique, by the way, is that we don't sell any advertising. So we're not dependent on advertising. We don't collect data and we don't sell data. Um, so local news, there's a big void, and there's a lot of people, and you can see this from your own experience and from so many people that we follow on X, that are people that are smart and curious, and they're looking at what's going on around them, and they're coming to or asking questions, maybe not necessarily coming to conclusions, but asking questions. They can post these concerns on Republic so that other people in the community are also aware of what's going on. As an example, they may see that a local company is letting things run into a stream or creek, and that shouldn't be happening. But there's nobody else around to report it, so they report it. And then the next thing you can do on Republic is you can create an action. So the person that's reporting on this, they're obviously looking for it, and they know that there's rules and regulations in place that say that companies should not be dumping pollutants into the streams. And so they may call out an action that says, let's go to the city council and inform them about what's going on, and remind them that there's laws in place that that companies need to comply with, so they're not polluting our water supply locally. And to help create awareness, that same activists may want to create an event using the events function on Republic, to bring people together to maybe to hear a speaker who is an expert in that subject, to meet other people in the community that have the same concerns, and ultimately fix the problems that are going on in our local communities. And then that leads to people feeling and understanding that as citizens, the government is supposed to work for us and not the other way around. But the government and the media has convinced, the majority of our citizens, and this is changing, of course, because people are waking up. But for a long time, they wanted to have everybody believe that the only thing that's important is what's going on nationally, and you as an individual have very little that you can do to impact that, and the only thing we need you guys to do is vote every 2 to 4 years. When in fact, a well-educated and informed and empowered citizenry has the authority under the Constitution to demand that our elected representatives do a good job to represent us. And if they don't do a good job, then we need to fire them and hire new people. So that's one of the aspects of Republic that we have, is very prominently featured on every page, is a link to My Representatives, so that everybody in their local communities can quickly identify who their elected representatives are, and see what their contact information is. If they've got a Twitter feed, they can see their Twitter feed, they can see their Facebook links. And then in addition to that, if you're an activist, you can, when you write an article, or let's say you found an article written by somebody else, and you're going to include that as a post on Republic, giving credit, of course, to the original author, that you can tag your elected representatives to that article or to that event or to that action, so that other people in the community, if they go to that representative's page on Republic, they can see everything that they've been tagged on. They can also, if the elected representative is smart and gets a subscription to Republic, that elected representative can see what people are talking about. They can see what the concerns are in their local community. And the rest of us can also see what those elected representatives are doing about our concerns. Are they addressing them, or are they ignoring them? We know that the case is right now that they ignore our concerns until it's time for a re-election. And then all of a sudden they become active. But the rest of the time, they're having a great time in Washington, D.C. or our state capitals, doing things that are difficult for us to know what's going on, because they make it difficult to find out and complicated to be informed. But that's all going to change. And
Yeah.
Republic is one way that's going to change. And I'm very proud of what we've done at Republic, but I do not anticipate that we're going to be the only social media platform that takes this approach. I think there'll be competition. Yeah. There's 350 million people in the United States. Our platform is built to support 100 million. So I'm sure that there'll be others that'll come in and help out and maybe come up with improvements and competition that makes us better.
Well,
but ultimately,
your point about the local,
mm-hmm.
the local issues, I think is really, really valid. I think that's why I wanted to have you on, because I feel like that is unique. And
yeah.
your point about local media and people losing their local newspapers. And so then if they have these, network affiliates, so you'll have a local ABC affiliate or an NBC affiliate or CBS affiliate, they're all controlled by these big conglomerates. I mean, we saw that. Mm-hmm. We saw, I don't remember what the issue was, but when they're all talking at the same time, and people literally found, all of these local news anchors at these, affiliates saying the exact same script that was handed down to them about being a danger to our community or something like that, misinformation or that sort of thing. I mean, it was so Orwellian. And
yes.
So to your point, yeah, I mean, it's going to be up to the grassroots to essentially create their own local platforms to get information to the people. And so that's a positive thing that I think that you guys are doing.
Thank you. Yeah, we're facilitating that. In addition to that, we want to give a voice to other vertical markets that have difficulty communicating because for a variety of different reasons, for cost, et cetera. So we're targeting family farms and farmers markets to be on the platform. In addition to activists, if you want to eat healthy, there's family farms in every community that are growing produce that they're very happy to sell to the local community, either on farm stands or farmers markets, or providing it to the local grocery stores and restaurants and so forth. Our subscription cost is $180 a year. So for a family farm, for $180 a year, they can be posting about what they're doing daily. They can be creating events where they're informing the public about their presence at farmers markets, and they can promote actions that are related to make America healthy again, and talk about how they're growing on their family farms, what kind of processes they're using, what kind of chemicals and pesticides or lack of. Another area is religious institutions. Religious institutions don't have a good way of communicating outside their four walls, and yet you can see, Paul, I'm sure you see it yourself, that there's a longing of people looking for greater meaning in their lives that used to be filled by religion, and that is still a great option. But you're not going to find much information about religion in the national corporate media, and in your local community. If there's no local newspaper, the church or synagogue really can't. How are they going to communicate outside their four walls and outside their memberships? And yet they're doing great things, and they can be reading about some of the things that the activists are writing about in the articles and say, hey, we've got a solution for that. And they've always got events going on. They're always doing good things in the community, and they need to share that, and help people build a greater sense of community that way. Another vertical is organizations. One of the things, when I became an activist, I started looking for organizations that I could participate in, and I was overwhelmed by what I found. But it's very difficult to find organizations, especially in the local area, and yet they're doing good things. And most of the organizations were developed to address specific problems, so they can write articles about the things that their organization is focused on, and immediately post an action that people can take to address that, because that's what they are existing for. And yet organizations have a very difficult time communicating. Again, most platforms are very expensive to promote and advertise on. If they want to increase their membership, they've got to do direct mail campaigns, which are very expensive and very unproductive in terms of the number of people that respond to those. It's only in the 2 or 3% range that respond to direct mail, and yet you've got to mail out 97% more to get that 3%. That's very expensive. Where on Republic, for $108 a year, an organization can be posting daily about their organization, the problems that they see, the solutions that they've come up with. And most organizations have events, whether they're fundraising events or educational events where they bring in speakers and so forth, and they can post on Republic about those events. People in the community typically are looking for ways to get involved in actions that they can take. When I was before I became an activist 4 years ago, I started to become politically aware about 10 years ago, and I joined social media platforms. I started learning a lot more, but I was always feeling very anxious about, what can I do? How can I get involved? What actions can I take? None of the social media platforms provide that, because Facebook, Twitter, X, the corporate media, the way that they operate is they want to get people addicted to keep coming back to them by giving them, a little bit of information here, a little bit of information there, not giving them the complete story. Come back, watch us at 5, watch us at 6, etc. And they want to have people become anxious and nervous and frightened, so that keeps them coming back. But they never give you the solutions, other than vote for so and so. That's going to solve all the problems. Well, that's not going to solve the problems. We've got to solve our problems. And so organizations and activists, they already have a menu of actions that you can take. So as a citizen is becoming aware of things that need to be, that there are things that are wrong that need to be corrected, but can't think of something on their own to do something about it. They can see the actions that are posted by the activists and organizations and then choose from a menu of things that they can get involved with, things that match up with their interests, with their talents, with their time. So we really see Republic as being a catalyst for communities to work better together, to realize that they have a voice in how the systems are run, and then demand that that the people that we elect represent us well. And if they don't represent us well, move on, because we've got other people that want to step in.
You guys have certainly put a lot of thought into it. I definitely think you've thought of a niche that's going to be really effective. So anyway, Vince, I appreciate you coming on the program, and I'd love to do it again sometime. We can talk about all kinds of different issues. So I appreciate your work. I appreciate your activism, and thank you for your time.
Thank you for everything you do too.
All right. Yes, sir. Thank you. We'll do it again soon. Folks, we got a lot of show left to get to. I mean, we really do. A lot of show left to get to. And so where we're going to start, well, before we go any further, let me tell you about Man's Edge, okay? All right. So I've been taking this now for I don't know, a month. This is a natural way to boost your testosterone. Masculinity is back in style, by the way. I don't know if you know this, but masculinity is officially back. The gynocracy was defeated. Donald Trump's special power might as well be, the ability to keep witches out of the White House. I don't know if you know this. But this is a great product from Neutronics Labs. Go to if you want to support the program and also get more testosterone. Who doesn't need that? I'm 40 now. I need all I can get. NeutronicsLabs.com/Paul. Use code Paul. Save 10%. NeutronicsLabs.com/Paul. It's a great way to help yourself as well as help the Millstone Report, as we are trying to deliver you the news from a biblical worldview. So check it out. Use that link. Use the code. Sign up for auto ship and save even more. And you can also check out their other great products like IGF-1 with glutathione, all of that. NeutronicsLabs.com/Paul. Okay. Robert Kennedy Jr. has been nominated to be the Secretary of Health and Human Services. This is incredible. This was obviously we were anticipating this. I think some people were holding their breath, though. Is he really going to do it? This was a deal that was made. It was a clear deal that was made. This was Robert Kennedy Jr. During one of Tucker Carlson's live events in Glendale, Arizona, back before the election.
Since 2005, I spend 30 minutes praying every day when I get out of bed. And my prayer is this. I ask God for 19 years to put me in a position where I could end the chronic disease epidemic and bring health back to our children.
Well, so if he gets confirmed, the Lord answers prayer. The Lord answers prayer. Let it be known. If you take anything away from this broadcast today, know this. Here's what Donald Trump had to say. I am thrilled to announce. I want to learn how to do it. I'm thrilled to announce. I couldn't do it. I'm thrilled to announce Robert F. Kennedy Jr. as the United States Secretary of Health and Human Services. For too long, Americans have been crushed by the industrial food complex and drug companies who have engaged in